people use, travel advisor as a travel consultant. People kind of tend to want to rebrand a little bit differently than travel agent. But ultimately, it comes down to 4 different things that you're going to be doing, right? There's the marketing aspect, which is basically just how do you find your clients? How do you get the phone to ring? Early on, that is one of the most difficult things to do.
Sure.
Because there's that ramp up process of filling the pipeline and working with people. And then the more people you work with, you'll get more referrals and it kind of snowballs. But early on, you're probably going to have to lean heavily on the current network of people that you have. And you're going to have to do some talking, in social situations too. So that's one of the first things that I always say is it's going to take you time to learn how to craft it, but keep in your mind, say, okay, I need to craft my 30-second elevator pitch, right? If I have an opportunity in a social situation where somebody asks me what I do for a living, how do I, in a very short period of time, explain to them what I do, get my passion across, and how I can help them? Because you're going to find a lot of situations where you're going to have to do that, and that's super important early on. And early on, I mean, like the first year. You don't it's not like day one stuff. You can ease into it, but it's just eventually the more comfortable that you feel, kind of selling yourself and how you can help people, the more opportunities, of course, you're going to have. And you're going to have that conversation with people on the phone anyways. If somebody refers and they reach out, you're going to need to explain to those people your value prop and how you can help. So it's just something to keep in mind. Okay, I'm going to have to have that. So that's the first thing, is marketing, basically where you're going to get your clients. Now, once somebody reaches out, there's basically the planning process. And this consists of it's going to be email, text, phone. I think the important thing ultimately is you want to go where the client feels comfortable.
Sure.
But the ultimate goal, if you ask me, is to get them over the phone. I feel like it's one of the most important aspects of transitioning into a relationship, which is fundamentally the most important part, because they don't need an order taker, because they could just go online and book it online if that's what they're looking for, right? So the whole advantage of working with somebody is you have that personal relationship, that person who's got your back, who knows what you want and is able to make recommendations that are personalized to them. And we'll talk about different ways that you can do that. But getting them on the phone is super, super important in my opinion. And it also helps build that relationship, which of course helps build the business, build referrals. Once you get them on the phone, there's going to be that consultation process. That's going to be, where are you looking to go? What are you looking to experience on this trip? What is your ideal budget? And there's a lot of different ways to kind of get this information. We'll share with you. We have some worksheets and stuff to kind of give you like a checklist of some of the questions to ask and the ways to ask them too, because simple things like budget, people are kind of hesitant to give budget. I think sometimes they either don't know, or I think maybe they're worried that if they tell you how much they want to spend, that maybe you're not going to give them a deal better than that. So there's sort of clever ways that you can phrase that. Something that I used to always say was, I know it's kind of hard to know exactly how much you want to spend, but what would you say is a ballpark budget you're looking to keep the travel expenses under or around? Okay. And sometimes even then they're like, well, I don't really know. And so then
I know I'm that kind of person.
Yeah, well, it's hard, but here's the thing. If you tell them, okay, well, were you thinking like $5,000? Oh, no, I don't want to spend that much. Or yeah, that's about what I was thinking. So I think sometimes if you make it easier, that works a lot with, well, what type of experience are you looking for? Well, I don't know, an all-inclusive resort. Okay, well, are you more of a pool or a beach person? I think it's figuring out those ways, because sometimes people don't know what they want. And so it's our job to kind of guide them and to get that information from them. And so we have a bunch of different questions and stuff that we can share with you to make that process easier. But the important part is get them on the phone, build that relationship, and then dig deep with good questions and follow-up questions to really figure out what are they looking for? What's the most important thing to them, right? And then that's going to go through the process of you'll check through the wholesaler system, find packages, pricing, send that over to them. A lot of times I do recommend, if they want, like setting up a call after the fact to discuss the options. Sometimes that's a little bit, they're, super busy and this and that, but I think the biggest thing is you just want to keep the momentum going in the process, right? So that they don't fall off, because it's easy to just send over quotes and then it just sits in their email box and they're busy with work and stuff. So, and it also saves you time, because once you get them on the phone, they're going to be like, well, I liked this, but honestly, I just feel like this is more than I'm looking to spend. Well, it's like, you immediately know then, okay, So that's like the planning process, right? Is basically putting together quotes. Now, eventually, sometimes after a lot of back and forths, they're going to know what they want, right? And then it's like the booking process. And that's like you go into the system, make the reservation, put in any requests, king bed, flight times, just basically all the nitty gritty of making the reservation. That's not just with the wholesaler system, but with our CRM so that you can track commissions, accounting, final payments. It's basically just everything's set up to be super organized. Again, Mike's going to go through all that with you, so you don't need to worry about that now. Sometimes that can include excursions. If people want to do cenotes or like visit ruins or stuff like that, you can do that in the booking process as well. And then, of course, then there's like the servicing aspect of it, which is basically, hey, I found out, I'm not able to get this day off of work. Can we move it? Can I leave one day later? Or something like that. Basically just making changes to reservations, wanting to upgrade room categories, wanting to change to first class or change flights or anything like that, right? So it's not always super neat in the way that it's ordered. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's all over the place, but the general gist is basically just marketing, planning, booking, and servicing.
Okay.
Right? You're going to find just over time, you're going to gain confidence in each of those areas because they are all sort of linked together. And the more that you do it, you're going to become really efficient at moving the process through. Because a lot of times when agents have trouble early on, it's because they lose momentum in transitioning them from one to the other. So somebody maybe like reaches out and maybe they're potentially interested, but you're not able to get them on the phone to move the process forward with the planning. Or maybe you put together some great quotes for them, but they're just not booking, they're non-responsive. So I think as you continue to do it, you're going to find different tools and different processes that you can do to move the process forward. But that's basically it. So marketing, planning, booking, servicing. Now, I think, I kind of mentioned it earlier as far as like the value prop and like the way to think about it. Really, the value of an agent, it comes down to a couple different things. Number one probably is knowledge. I mean, it's not just knowledge as information, but it's applied knowledge. It's your ability to say, okay, I've been there, I've experienced this. This is what you should do, right? And so I think another thing too is to think about your travel experiences as stories that you can communicate to your clients. So this is going to be slow as you work with your clients, but it's something to keep in the back of your head because your knowledge is only as good as your ability to communicate it.
Sure.
Right. And humans, we love stories. That's just the way that we are. So if somebody says, well, do you think I should upgrade for an ocean view room or an oceanfront room, or should I pay more for a swim out room? If you have some way of saying, go to an all-inclusive resort, I book a swim out room because XYZ. When I stayed at this hotel, I really liked the ability that I could just walk out the back patio in the morning, drink my coffee, and then get in the pool. Like that personalized aspect of things. So again, that's a slow process. You're going to build it, but something just to keep in mind. Knowledge is a super important thing. I think the collaboration aspect is super important as an agent. Because again, they can book it online. So if they're working with somebody, it's because in some way they like the process of working with another person. Now, there's all different types of personality profiles. Like some people, Mr. Busy Business Professional, like he doesn't care. You know what I mean? He doesn't have time. He's like, just tell me where to go. I trust you.
Yeah.
Right? Make my life easier. He values time and convenience. So that type of collaboration is going to be a little bit different than the collaboration with somebody who's like a type A personality who wants to do research with you and like wants to discuss it on mimosas and talk about what they saw online. And like the planning process is fun for them. That's like part of the vacation experience, right? So you're going to have different types of clients that want different things, but ultimately it's just that collaboration, that relationship. That's an important part of the agent process. And then of course, like customer service. When things are easy, right? Like I think the true value of an agent comes in our ability to take complicated situations or challenges and to solve them for our clients.
Yes.
Nobody ever wants to talk about when things go wrong, but sometimes things go wrong. And that's really the value of agents. Is like, okay, like when there's a problem in destination, right? if they book through an online travel agency like Expedia, well, they're probably calling a 1-800 number. Let's be honest. And they're probably talking to somebody who's not particularly interested in their situation because they're paid hourly and they're on the phone to fill, they don't care. They have no personal interest.
Yeah.
As agents, though, that personal relationship, we're in a unique position because we have those personal relationships with people on site to say, okay, I've got you. Don't worry about it. To be that calming influence to say, okay, here's what I'm going to do to take care of this for you. I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and to kind of take control and put them at ease and tell them what to do. So I think that that's an important aspect too. And again, something that you're going to learn in the trainings and throughout the process, kind of how to handle different scenarios. And of course, we have a full contact list of sheets of who to reach out to in destination, because that's also the value of being with us at Modern is we've been doing this for a long time. And so if something needs to get done in destination, we have a lot of great contacts and a lot of great relationships to take care of that, because you should see their email boxes at the resorts. It's crazy. Yeah. They get so many emails. So like having that personal relationship and working with people, that also pushes your email to the top to ensure that you get a reply and it's not just, sitting in their inbox. So which leads me, I guess, to another thing too, which is relationships are probably the single most important thing in this industry, right? Not just, of course, with the clients, but with the wholesalers, the tour operators, the hotels. You're going to have a lot of opportunities to visit hotels, to go to events, and to build relationships with people on site and to learn more about, how they operate, how they like to partner, and with other travel agents too. I think we're super lucky to be in a unique type of industry that really it is a community over competition type of industry. It's like super collaborative. There's a lot of really great travel agent Facebook groups, as an example, where agents are just helping each other, not because there's any unique benefit really to them, but just because they're part of a community and they want to see travel agents as a whole be successful and thrive. What's good for us as individuals is good for us as an industry. So I think that's super important to keep in mind too. And that means that one of the very important things to us at Modern is that the way that you treat our partners is like the most important. It's super, super important. Sometimes it's easy to get frustrated, or people fire off emails, or they talk on the phone and they're rude to people. It's just like, we're all looking for the same solution, right? We're all in the same team. So always operate with respect and appreciation for the people that we're working with, because that also, not just as a that's the right thing to do, but also because just like as a strategy for growing your business, that's the smart thing to do. People want to work with kind, respectful people. You're going to get more done, right? So that's super important. So then, I guess before we get into some of the commissions and service fees, do you have any questions, I guess, of what I've covered so far? I
don't think so.
Okay.
It all makes sense. And I think, having worked with Anna for so long, so many years on the other side, like, it's like, oh, okay. Like that makes a lot of connecting dots.
Yeah. So, and Anna's great. Anna's
awesome.
She's the best. So that is super beneficial too, to experience the client side of things too, so that you can understand as well, like, what did I value? What did I appreciate in the process? So that's great. This episode of the Modern Travel Agent Podcast was brought to you by our partnership with the Dominican Republic Ministry of Tourism. If you're currently booking the Dominican Republic, but you're not taking advantage of the rewards program, then you're leaving money on the table. Visit dotravelrewards.com to learn more about their program and how you can register.